Hey, what's going on, guys? Black Mamba here. So, today's video is going to be a top 20 list of characters that are not commonly used but can throw off your opponent if used correctly or under the right composition. Now, this list is not in any specific order. This is just kind of a general list of characters you don't normally see in the standard faction lineups but can outperform in the right team. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and start with Sith Assassin. So Sith Assassin is, or was used quite a bit right when Darth Revan came out, and then right when Malik got his tweak, she became almost useless to an extent. I'm a Sith fanatic and I love my Sith Assassin, and so I use her quite a bit. As you can see, I have her 300 speed, and I actually use her with Traya a lot, or Palpatine. So she gets a lot of turn meter, and she can grant a lot of turn meter to a lot of her Sith allies and make it so Palpatine never ever stops. And if you use her on offense, you don't necessarily use her electrocute because then the buffs expire and she is vulnerable to attack. So if you always use a basic and Dark Shroud, she will constantly be granting bonus TM, and she attacks underneath protection. And I want to do a transition into Savage Oppress. So if you run Savage with Sith Assassin, it's a great duo. And because his overpower goes straight to the health. So with Sith Assassin doing her basic, going underneath protection, she a lot of the times will take a unit with full protection. She'll take a unit below 50% health. And then if you do the turn meter correctly, then Savage Oppress will use this ability and instantly kill them. 2-hit wonder on that kill. So she is very good under Sith teams. On offense, I would not recommend using her on defense as the AI does not necessarily know how to play her all that well. Maul actually got a huge resurgence when they did that huge stat correction. He became a lot better. He was number 1 in health and damage, if I remember correctly, as well as when you gear 13 him, his gear 13 piece is quite awesome. He's pretty tanky, as well as he hits fairly hard after gear 13. And now that Rex and R2-D2 are used on different lineups, which are his biggest counters, he can actually surprise a lot of people. So if you put him on defense with some Sith and stuff, or Sith plus Nest or something, then people using R2-D2 will likely not use it against Maul because you need R2-D2 for a better team, and likely Rex won't be used against a Maul team as well. So that his two biggest counters will likely be used against one of your better defenses, and so your evasion will become greatly annoying with Maul. Zam Wessel is a huge bonus for the bounty hunters because she's a very fast character, as well as she places a lot of thermal detonators and can instantly pop them, granting a Jango Fett or Bosk, but most likely Jango Fett contract extremely quickly. And so what you want to do is you want to lay down these, and then when it's a turn again, you shoot with your basic as many times on a thermal detonator as possible. And if your whole 5 team is alive still, she grants 100% TM to herself if she's not dazed, because it's 20% TM for each living Scoundrel ally. So you can basic 5 times in a row if all 5 enemies have a thermal detonator, and then you can place this again. And then if she's low, she can grant this for protection increase as well. And she gets a lot of stats at the beginning of the battle. Ahsoka Tano Fulcrum is an offensive character. I highly recommend not putting this character on defense. The AI does not know how to play it, but if you put her with a rebel team, especially for GAC, she can grant a lot of bonus protection to her team, keeping them alive for more points, as well as with her Zeta, she does a lot of damage, and I used to put her when Bastila Lead first came out, when it was Palpatine meta. Well, I mean, it was kind of Traya, but a lot of my shard had Palpatine still, and I used Bastila with Ahsoka Tano, Fulcrum, and I used the buffs from Grandmaster Yoda and Bastila Shan, and she would one-shot pretty much every Grandmaster Yoda or even General Kenobi's back in the day. So she can hit hard when modded correctly. I have not used her Gear 13 as mine is Gear 12 with only one piece, but she hits very hard. Ezra is a great plug-and-play toon. Not many use him in this day and age, and as you can see, I don't have him modded correctly. But if you mod him for either offense or crit damage, with crit chance, he hits very hard with his flourish, especially if you have the Zeta. You can put him on a Jedi team. I'm seeing a lot more people split up their Jedi between Bastila Shan lead and Jedi Knight Revan lead, trying to make two teams. Ezra is a fantastic option for that. He grants a lot of TM to people and also critical damage or critical chance, attacks twice, passive offensive increase, and so forth. Many people do have Kira, but many people don't. Kira is a fantastic Scoundrel leader, and the main reason for this is because of her leadership. A lot of people use her with Nest or other Scoundrels for the protection and stacking offense. She provides a lot of protection recovery on the hits, and you can do a Nest and Kira timeout team using her. And I'd highly recommend her if you don't have her. L3 with Watt is also a good synergistic combo, but L3 does a lot of counterattacks, heals, cleanses her allies, and is just a fantastic tank as well as healer/support type droid. Savage Press is a great option. I'd recommend, if you want to try out a team, try putting him as the lead with Darth Malak. That's actually, I've heard, a pretty gruesome defense. It makes it pretty nasty. Even if I imagine putting up a character that provides tenacity up or just a tenacity bonus with the Sith, or even try putting Sith Trooper, the new Sith Trooper with this team. That would be pretty nasty. So Savage Press lead with Malak is a great option. Clone Sergeant. Yes, I do not have him modded correctly. I only have so many mods to go around. But he's a great option to get up, mainly because of light size GOTV, but also if you don't have ARC Trooper available or you don't have G Money, you can use Clone Sergeant. He gets a lot of bonus TM with his basic attack on critical hits. As you can see, I need critical chance on my Clone Sergeant, but he also gets a lot of offense and stacking critical damage and such with his abilities. Plus, you need him for the events. Kanan is also, like I was saying, a lot of people are, yes, my mods are terrible on Kanan because I never use him. But as I progress in my roster, I will likely give him better mods as well as gear him up more, because 2 Jedi teams would be a great formation for Grand Arena or Lightside GOTB. He's a great tank. Debuffs make him heal. He has a cleanse. He disarms people on his basic with offense down. And so the only way to get rid of him is fracture or shock, so he can't heal. Otherwise, your debuffs won't really do much to him. Now, I put Luke Skywalker Farmboy on here mainly for his leadership. A lot of people use him use him with Nest to counter Geos or counter certain lineups because you can get 45% tenacity with Farmboy Luke and put that with a high tenacity Nest, and you can get her well over 200% tenacity. So that would be pretty nasty to go up against, as well as he has some TM gain and a stun. I put Phasma on here because she's actually super underrated, and the fact that First Order are going to be getting some additional troopers or characters. And so I mean, I can't predict the future, but I would assume you can make 2 First Order teams, and having First Order, or not First Order, having Captain Phasma in one of your First Order teams is a great addition because she can grant all of your allies 50% TM as well as advantage. And with General Hux, the advantage buff is huge for him. So I feel like them two matched together would be a great pair. And she also grants advantage on her basic. Probe Droid is a fantastic character with Palpatine. I've seen Probe Droid work very well against Padme squads. And the reason for this is because he dispels all debuffs with his detect. And then with the Zeta, if Probe Droid is active, target locked enemies can't gain buffs. So they can't gain protection up, they can't gain any positive stats effects, and Palpatine lead works really well. That's, of course, if 3PO is not on the team. 3PO makes it a lot harder. Clone Wars Chewbacca is a fantastic addition to a Padme team. He can taunt, he can heal up, he can save his Courage stacks, and you can save up to where he has over 20 or 30 and then one-shot somebody. And he's kind of a slow character, but very beefy, so he can be a great addition to a Padme team if you want to split up some of your Galactic Republic characters. Plo Koon just got a recent touch-up where his basic now kind of acts as Nihilus, where you automatically dispel a positive status effect. And now he will gain 3 turns of defense up along with that. And his special also inflicts offense down. And his leadership also grants a ton of turn meter to clone and Jedi allies. So if you put him with GR or Jedi, the extra TM gain is huge for Plo Koon and his allies. Visas Mar is a fantastic Sith counter. She revives, she counterattacks, she heals, she cleanses her allies, and can be a very good, useful plug-and-play character to help against Sith if you see them on defense. Holdo is a character some people know is strong. I mean, I wouldn't call her very strong, but she's a fantastic addition to the Jedi training raid composition, as she can heal up your allies as well as do a mass AoE daze. And her basic grants the healthiest ally, resistance ally, foresight for 2 turns, which really helps if it goes to BB-8. Lobot is a special one. I want to end with that one. I will come back to Lobot. Vandor Chewie is a fantastic addition to a Kira Nest team, as if you put the Zeta on him, and you can see at the very bottom, when a Scoundrel ally, light side ally is defeated, if he's prepared, he revives them at 60% health. And while Chewbacca is buffed, he has 40% counter chance, and if he gains a positive status effect, he recovers protection, and whenever he recovers max protection, this way he becomes prepared. So whenever he gains a positive status effect, he basically becomes prepared. So he'll always be reviving annoying teams. Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, I actually have it here because if you read his kit and you build him and bring him to Gear 13, which I don't recommend doing immediately, but if you do, you can give him some great use because his basic grants allies 15% TM. He also has a taunt for 2 turns, as well as he will be revived if he is defeated while he has buffs. So if you can control when he has buffs, he will pretty much never die. And, well, he'll die but be revived. And when he keeps dying and being revived, his whole team gets speed for 2 turns. So that would be a great addition if you focused on rebel ships and have him at a high gear. So Lobot is a great droid leader. And shout out to Kit Fisto Clone Wars. He's in my guild. He has some fantastic defenses, which I will show screenshots of after this for the conclusion of this video. But if you are one to take Grievous away from your Separatist droid team and you're curious what the heck to do with them, throw a Lobot lead in there, and they actually do quite well. His special dispels all negative status effects from allies. Then each ally recovers 7% of Lobot's health, and he gains 8% TM for each droid ally. And droid allies gain half that amount. But his leadership, if he's with droids, they all gain 25% speed and potency, 10% potency. And these droids, the Separatist droids, live off this potency and speed, which would really help. And so Lobot has a bunch of speed and tenacity for each droid ally. So pair them with all the Separatist droids, and he becomes a nuisance team. And here are some pictures for you guys to enjoy. Again, here's the ending list for those who want to see the full list at the end. And I'm sure there are some characters that are also unused that are fantastic. Please let me know in my Discord if you want to join, or down in the descriptions below. But here are 20 characters that I find very, very useful that are not used very much on the meta teams. Thank you for watching.